At that moment, I knew I was dead. I remember it so clearly. 1 second earlier, I could still feel the sharp pain in my chest. Then suddenly, everything disappeared. No more pain. No more sound. Nothing at all. Only a sensation of lightness. As if I had just left my own body. I looked down and saw the doctors trying to save me. But the strangest thing was, I no longer felt afraid. No panic. No pain. Only one thing. A warm, gentle light, pulling me further away. At that moment, only one question remained in my mind. Is this death? I thought that when I died, everything would end. I believed I would dissolve into nothingness. That there would be nothing but eternal darkness. But I was wrong. Because when I opened my eyes, I realized that I still existed. I could no longer feel my body. I was no longer bound by pain or gravity. I was no longer breathing. Yet I was still conscious. My heart no longer beat in my chest. But I could still feel everything around me. And the first thing I noticed was that I was floating in space. Around me, there was no hospital room. No white walls. No blinding lights. Instead, an entirely different space began to emerge. Everything was hazy, but not frightening. It was so beautiful that I could not believe my own eyes. I was standing in a place unlike anywhere on earth. The colors of this place, they could not be described with words. They were unlike any shades I had ever seen before. The sky shimmered as if millions of stars blended together. There was no sun. Yet everything glowed from within, as if the light came from the existence of this space itself. And then, I heard a sound. It was not a voice, not a musical instrument, but a sound filled with life. A pure melody that touched my soul, making me feel as if I belonged here. As I gazed at this world in awe, I realized I was not alone. I saw them. The spirits. The ones I had loved, but had long since departed from me. She looked at me, and instantly, I knew who she was. My mother. She was no longer old or sick like the last time I saw her. She was radiant, full of life, with eyes that held all the love in the world. She did not need to say anything. With just her gaze, I understood everything she wanted to tell me. You cannot stay here yet, my love. I began to feel something. Something stronger than peace. A feeling indescribable. As if I was standing before a great truth that I had overlooked my entire life. I did not know what to call it. God, the universe, or a higher being. But I felt it. A presence that encompassed everything, holding all the wisdom and love that humanity had ever sought. It is time for you to choose. I looked down and saw a thread of light connecting me to my old body. Still lying on the hospital bed, I realized that I had a choice: to stay or to return. I did not want to leave this place. I had never felt so safe, so loved. But I knew there was something I had yet to complete. You must go back. And then, I fell. I had returned. But I was no longer the same person. I did not want to leave this place. Not even a little. I had never felt a peace like this before. I no longer felt pain. I no longer felt worry. No more fear. Here, I felt loved, embraced, as if I had finally come home after a long journey. But just as I reached the boundary between these two worlds, a voice echoed, "You cannot stay. Your time has not yet come." I did not understand. I felt that I belonged here. I was no longer bound to the other world. So why must I go back? I saw myself. But not just as an ordinary human. I saw a soul that still had something unfinished. And at that moment, I understood that I could not stay. In this world, no one commands you to do anything. There is no force that forces you to return. But I felt something. A deep truth. You still have your mission. A mission? What do these words mean? I do not remember having any mission. I am just an ordinary person. What have I done that is so important that I cannot stay? You will understand when you return. I looked down, and I saw the people I loved. They were crying. They were praying. And I realized I could not leave them behind. Remember? Life is a gift. When the time comes, you will understand your true reason. I felt myself falling. A sensation like being pulled forcefully back into my body. As if I had just passed through an invisible door. I returned. But I was no longer the same. I felt everything. My breath. The sharp pain in my chest. The tears of those around me. But something had changed forever. I had touched the other side. I had seen what very few people ever witness. And I knew I could not keep this to myself. I lay on the hospital bed, trying to understand what had just happened. Was it just a dream? Was it only an illusion created by the brain in the moments before death? But no. I know it was real. More real than anything I have ever experienced. So the question is, why was I given this opportunity? And more importantly, what am I supposed to do with it? Perhaps that is why I came back. Not because I had completed everything, but because there was still something left for me to do on this earth. After returning from this experience, I was no longer the same person. The way I saw life had completely changed. But the biggest question was, what should I do with this understanding? How can I live a more meaningful life? I will tell you. When I opened my eyes, I immediately realized that everything had changed. The room was the same. The doctors, the nurses, my family, they were all there. But something was profoundly different. Not the world itself, but the way I saw the world. I felt everything. I heard my own heartbeat. Felt my breath deeper than ever before. I realized I was alive. But the most terrifying thing was not that I had once died. It was that I was no longer the same person. A near-death experience is not just a dream. Not just an illusion. It is an awakening. I began to see everything differently. The things I once thought were important. Money. Fame. Success. Now seemed meaningless. I started noticing beauty in the smallest things. The morning sunlight. The sound of birds outside my window. The warmth of a loved one's touch. But at the same time, I also saw more clearly the things I had once ignored. The moments I had unknowingly hurt others. The times I let anger overshadow love. The opportunities I had missed to express gratitude. I cannot change the past. But I know one thing for sure. I can change how I live from now on. I used to fear death. I used to panic at the thought of disappearing forever. But now, that fear is gone. I know that death is not the end. It is simply a doorway to another journey. I no longer worry about when or how I will leave this world. Instead, I focus on how I will live in the time that I have. After experiencing an NDE, I began to feel a deep connection with those around me. Before, I always felt like an isolated individual, separate from the world. But now, I understand that we are all connected by invisible threads of love and energy. When I look into someone's eyes, I do not just see their face. I see their soul. I see their pain, their joy, their untold stories. And I understand, we are all in this journey together. I can no longer live the way I used to. I can no longer be indifferent, chasing after superficial things. I started to change. I spent more time with the people I love. I listened more. I slowed down, cherishing every moment. I began dedicating time to helping others. I no longer ignored silent cries for help. I understood that even small actions could make a great difference. Because now, I know that when I leave, I will not take money or fame with me. I will only take with me the love I have given. Every day, I wake up and remind myself, this is a gift. I no longer live on autopilot. I no longer postpone love, postpone happiness. I live as if every day is my last. And I cherish every second. Because now, I understand that life is not just a series of passing days. It is an opportunity to love, to learn, to experience. And I will not waste another moment. Have you ever had a moment that changed your life? Have you ever felt the true meaning of existence? Share your story. And remember, live every day to the fullest. After everything I have been through, I realized that life is not meaningless. We are not just born, live, and then die. Every moment, every choice, every action holds a deeper meaning than we imagine. Before, I thought I had all the time in the world. I thought that tomorrow would always be there, so I could delay what mattered today. But after experiencing an NDE, I realized that time is never infinite. Time is the most precious gift. I no longer waste it on things that do not matter. I no longer spend hours dwelling on trivial things. I no longer hold on to meaningless grudges. I have learned to live each day fully. Because I do not know if I will have the chance to do so tomorrow. I once thought that success, money, and status were the most important things in life. But after experiencing an NDE, I realized that the only thing that truly exists is love. Love is the greatest power. The moments I remember most in life are not the times I made a lot of money or achieved fame. They are the moments when I loved and was loved. Love is not just limited to family or friends. It is the connection with all people. It is found in small acts of kindness. It is in a smile given to a stranger, a helping hand offered to someone in need. Because when we leave this world, the only thing we can take with us is the love we have given away. Before, I carried so much hatred, so much anger in my heart. But when I looked back at my life during my NDE, I realized that all those negative emotions only hurt me. When I forgive, I do not just set others free. I set myself free. Forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. My NDE showed me something I had never believed before. We are not alone. There is another world beyond this physical one. There is a connection between us and something greater. Whether you call it God, the universe, or something else, I know for certain that there is an existence far greater than us. I share this story not to make you fear death, but to make you love life even more. Cherish each day. Love deeply. Forgive. Pursue the things that truly matter. And remember, when your time comes, you will not take money, fame, or status with you. You will only carry the love and the memories you have created. So why not live fully? Starting right now? If you have ever had an experience like mine, if you have ever touched the boundary between life and death, share your story. Because maybe your story could change someone's life. Thank you for listening to my story. And never forget, life is a gift. Cherish it. If you found this video meaningful, like, share, and subscribe to continue exploring more miraculous spiritual stories with me.